I think we can start now. So, in today's session, we will dive into product analytics and demonstrate how it can help you make better decisions to grow your business. Digital products are a big part of our daily lives, and even physical products now include digital features. To succeed in businesses, it's important to understand how users interact with your product and what their journey basically looks like. This is where product analytics comes in. It helps you see what users like, what keeps them coming back, and how you can improve your product to make them happier. Now, Saurabh will conduct today's session and will share all of his learnings with you all. He has worked with big names in the industry like Tata Group, Amex, Lenskart, and by the end of this session, you will know how to transform your digital strategy, reduce user drop offs, learn about the top KPIs, and create products that users don't just use but love. Now, I would like to invite Saurabh to continue with the session and share his key learnings.
Great. Am I audible?
Yes, Saurabh, you're.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time on Saturday to get on this call. We have a good turnout. About 50 people had registered and about 20 have joined. So surely, I think so people will join soon. Uh, so this is a very interactive session which we will go through. The whole idea is I have been into the field of analytics and over almost 2 decades, worked with Tata Group, Lenskart, Motherson Sumi, and over the last 1 year since we started our consulting, I've worked with over 10 plus brands and seen that product analytics is a key gap area which we see people face. So rather than teach people to build the role of product analytics, we see that product analytics is becoming more of a skill. And this is what we will go through today. So a quick poll, want to know how many people have, like everyone has apps on their phone, okay? So you can put in the chat how many apps do you have? Do you have less than 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 100, more than 100? Would love to know about this. Rakesh is saying 50 to 100, 20 to 50, 100 plus. Okay, great. Yeah, so I think so mostly people are saying between 20 to 50. Honestly, when we buy a new phone, we have 20, 10, 15 apps already installed, pre-installed, and then we add up more and more and we don't use it. So today, everyone is grappling for attention, and there are about 50 million apps on Play Store or App Store, whatever way you look at, and they are growing. And the challenge which every company is facing is for the same purpose, there are 10 apps. Whether you go for a hotel booking, you will have 10 apps. If you go for productivity, you will have 10 apps. To get attention of users, the key is the challenge which people are facing. From a functionality, I think so every app has copied each other and is building. So I'm not that the best, most used app is not the most functional app, but there is something else which gets people to build in the direction of user growth. So that's the challenge many people face. Now, when I speak to a lot of product managers, what I see that definitely there, when the job description is written, the mission statement is to drive user experience, to drive user growth. But at the end, they end up chasing backlogs. Okay, and I know some people might get offended, but at the end, a good product manager has a huge pile of backlog which he's trying to get completed with coordinating with multiple tech people and stakeholders. Is this a problem you resonate with? If this is yes, put a yes in the chat, please. So Preetham says yes, Ujjwal says yes. And if you don't resonate it, you can definitely say no, that no, we are very focused on this. Great. So, so what to chase, and one of the challenges which we have seen is whenever there is a huge feature backlog, what is getting deprioritized is the analytics into it. So once a feature is launched, and it used to happen with me in Lenskart and other companies also, when the feature is launched, there's a rush to launch the feature. Okay. Once you launch the feature, after 2 weeks, your founder or your CEO will ask what happened, did we get users? And we struggle to figure out what numbers to see. and we just say, okay, we have missed putting tracking out there. And when you miss putting tracking, you don't know what's happening. Okay. So product analytics, many times people say it is the job of the analytics team, it is the job of the growth team. But to me, it's not a career. Okay. It is something, a skill which everyone should embrace, whether it's a product manager, product analyst, digital marketer, app developer, analytics professional, UX designer. Everyone should have the basics of product analytics skill. Yeah. Guys, if you guys put on mute and we will definitely ask you to switch on your cameras at the right time.
हाँ वही खाया था मैंने तो कहा ना तेरे को राजमा
1 second. There is someone. Yeah. Amartya and Ram and Prashant, if you could switch off your camera for some time, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah. And if you guys have any questions, guys, please feel free to put it in the chat. We will be happy to take the questions. I will be pausing at multiple times. So, by end of this session, what my promise to you is that you will be able to use data-driven decisions in your product journey and be a little bit 50% more effective if you're not using it today. If you are already using it, would love to know your experience and see how we can learn from you. So what we will cover today is mainly four things. Okay, what is a product? What's the need of a product analytics? What makes the foundation of a good product analytics framework? And then what are the three components? And how you can use some tech tools to drive your products and analytics journey. Okay, so I know it's a very foundational question. What is a product at the end? Okay, we have physical products, we have website, and we have apps. So all of these are products in such a way. But what we know of products today are we know of e-commerce products which are physical, which sell us physical products like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Lenskart. Their business model is to drive commissions, to drive sales and margins. Then there are content-driven products which are driving consumption like Netflix, YouTube, Times of India, all media houses who have a model to either they take subscription or they run ads or they have a freemium model where we consume content. And then the third is enterprise or productivity-based products, which are like Teams, Adobe, Zoom, Canva, which help us be more productive. And their business model is mostly either they are subscription or fees, or they make they use content from us to run ads like WhatsApp. So on the digital side of the products, these are mainly three different types of products which people see. But what's happening is there is a convergence of products happening from the physical world to the real digital world. Like recently, I purchased this M2 water purifier from Urban Company. The reason I picked it up from them because they claim to have the least amount of service issues and they have 2 years free guarantee of no service charges, which was a big problem in when we used to use Kent and other products. Now, what they have beautifully done is they have an app also which tells us the filter health, sedimentation health, water consumption, and if there is any issue, they have IoT sensors. It will trigger to Urban Company, and their executive will come and fix it. So physical products are also having apps. Now, many people have attempted. I have not seen many people are able to do a good work. Like some, we have seen smart ACs coming in. We have seen smart cars where in car also you can switch on, switch off. But digital products, physical products with a digital experience, make it more premium and make it more Gen Z. Okay, so product is everywhere. Everything is ending up becoming a product. So the need for products to be uplifted is key, and to know what to uplift and what is working well and what is not working well is a key challenge. And that is where data analytics comes in, which is the topic of the day. Uh, the whole field of data and analytics has exploded, especially because huge amount of data has been getting generated online. Okay, uh, about this year, it's expected to cross 100 zettabytes of data generated in 2024, and mostly driven by IoT, by website, social media. And honestly, I think so. We haven't scratched the surface to tap this information really well. The whole science of tapping this whole digital data for the use of companies' benefit is called digital analytics. Okay. So the way I look at is digital analytics has two components. One is the marketing analytics component, and the second is the product analytics component. The focus of marketing analytics is to bring traffic to your product. Whether you run ads, you run social media by organic means, that is called marketing analytics. To drive conversions, retaining the traffic, to drive engagement is where the product analytics comes in. The most foundation thing when you use in digital analytics is the ABC framework. Before I go further ahead, can you guys put in chat if you have used any kind of digital analytics tools like Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, uh, Pivot, anything, any tool which you have used, you can put it in the chat, the name of the tool, please, so that I get an idea. Okay, Bhavya says GA4, Omniture, awesome. Amplitude, great. Hi, Amit. Okay. Great. So GA4 is like the most popular tool. It is one of the best tools I feel out there by Google, and it has like 95% market share, like the search uh, control it has. That's the way it is. So any of these tools, has a very core framework which is called the ABC framework, which is simple to understand. A is acquiring traffic from organic search, all the traffic sources, you acquire traffic. B is the behavior. Behavior is where we understand how the user is interacting on your website or your app and driving different types of objectives. And C is conversion. Conversion is where we got the traffic and we are meeting the end objective of it. So the entire digital analytics is based on ABC framework. Marketing analytics mostly focus on getting the right traffic to the product. Behavior and conversion are something more around the product analytics. Okay. So just I will touch upon marketing analytics. In this session, we will not cover much of marketing analytics, but if that is of interest, you could put it in the chat and we can figure out another webinar or something around marketing analytics. I spend 60-70% of my time working on marketing analytics uh, as well. So today, if we see, there are six types of marketing channels. Okay, we have brand, we have social media, we have organic, we have performance marketing, we have affiliate marketing. All of these channels, we marketers spend huge amount of money to get traffic. In fact, it's about $1.5 trillion of money is spent in marketing today, out of which annually globally, and out of which 70% today is spent on digital channels. Now, think about that much amount of money, almost $1 trillion plus is spent on digital marketing, and it is generating so much of revenue. In fact, 80% of the revenue of Meta and Google is coming from marketing. So if you just add up both of these revenue, it's more than $500 billion. So, and also maybe TikTok is also earning money from marketing out there. So marketing focuses on to get the traffic and get it converted, while the focus of product analytics is once the traffic has reached to your product or your website, it is to drive conversion, repeat usage, to give him the great experience. Okay. Now think about it. Think about a physical shop. You have a shop which is selling, maybe say one is from Lenskart. You are selling specs. So you run all the ads, TV, you get the people into your store, and from there, it's the experience of the product, it's the way the staff greets you, is the offers running in, it is the queue out there. Are you getting the eye test or not? That will determine how the conversion will happen, which is the focus around the product side. Okay, so product will focus on that. Now, there are no clear distinctions between marketing and product. The conversion is where the overlap happens. So there is this whole debate always happening between the marketing team and product team कि मैंने तो traffic ले आया है, आप convert नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. So, so what I mean to say is that the responsibility of conversion is shared. Why is it shared? If the marketing teams are not able to get the right audience to the website or the product, they might not convert. Okay, say for example, you have gotten a price point of the customer who is not ready to pay that much, then that traffic is of no use. But if you are getting the right audience and then with the right product experience, you will be able to convert. So 80% of the companies mostly focus on marketing analytics and touch or scratch little bit of product analytics. This whole idea of putting this session is to make sure we spread a little bit of education about what are the key components of product analytics and how you could use it to better your product journey. Now, we have 90 minutes. We will spend 70, 75 minutes in it. So we'll not be able to do justice, but we'll scratch the surface across and put it in a good framework. Trust me, I'm not selling you any course or anything in the end. It is just an awareness session, which I love to do with my audience. Okay. I'll take a pause and see if there is any questions so far. Okay, great. So the next topic we will start is what's the foundation of product analytics, and we'll talk about North Star. So, so I have spoken to a lot of product managers. Okay, I've spoken to product managers in Amazon, Flipkart, Lenskart, Meesho, uh, almost like maybe 30, 40 companies I've spoken to, almost 100, 200 plus people I've spoken to. Now, what drives a good PM to own analytics is the culture of the company plus the understanding of the PM. Okay. Now, I'll try to explain what it means. Okay. So there are companies which say, okay, analytics is responsibility for somebody else. So you figure out the success later. But companies like Amazon, Uber, who are very, very data driven, any feature without the proper matrix defined and the tracking put in, they will not release it. Okay. What I've seen in many of the startups in Indian based, especially to the hustle of releasing a feature, they forget to put in the tracking and somebody else is chasing ki bhai tumne tracking to dala nahi, how do I figure out what is happening? Is this a scenario do you relate with happening with you ever? You can put a yes in the chat. Yeah. So what I've seen is, we think obsess about that. How is Amazon such a great company? How is Uber such a good company in terms of product experience? How is Google such a good company? What happens with them is they have clearly defined first when you make a product feature, you think about what is the success measure for it. Second is how will you measure it? What is the tracking needed? And that is part of the core requirement. Many product managers forget it or deprioritize it कि यार कर लेंगे बाद में, that is okay. So that is one key thing that product managers, if they think that they have to stop chasing backlogs and work on features which really make business impact, tracking is the number one thing they need to prioritize and almost say that if there is tracking enabled and working well, then only I will give a go ahead to put it in production. So there are two things for a good product analytics. One is a user and one is an event. Okay. Now let me explain it. Okay. So for example, Saurabh goes to the Paytm app and he starts scrolling. So user here is Saurabh and event is scrolling. Okay. Now the way analytics in digital work is you can even earlier we used to be more click based events that whenever you are clicking, you will be able to track. Now, if you are browsing, if you are scrolling, if you are hovering a mouse, you are looking at pictures, everything is an event and it gets captured into the system. Now, events roll up to become a KPI, and I'll talk about it in few slides. So just understand this core concept. There is a user and there is an event. A user coming again. So a user spending 10-15 minutes on your website is a session. If he comes multiple times, say he comes in the morning, he comes in the evening, and then he comes in the night, it will be counted as 3 sessions. So user, multiple sessions. It's almost like in the physical world, you go to a store, you come out after 2-3 hours, you come. So if you come back in 30 minutes again and again, then it is counted at the same session. So session is like a journey or what you could say. So this is like everything is a building block by these two elements. That's the beauty that event and user combine to make the entire digital analytics framework. Okay. Now we have seen site visitors. Okay. Site visitors is again, you count the number of users who are coming. Unique visitor is say a Saurabh is coming 5 times, he will be counted as one. Session is like how many 30-minute sessions or sessions people have done. So all these KPIs which are tracked in the core framework of digital analytics are created out after events and users. If you are working in the field of product analytics, you people will hear that we are not tracking the right events. Our events are not getting tracked. We have not put in the event on the button. We have missed out putting event on the image. So all those are events, okay? And event tracking is what fundamentally this has to be done. Okay. So now coming to the customer, okay, user. So the challenge in most of the digital products, especially website, is most of the people are tracking. There is anonymous browsing happening. 99% people are doing anonymous browsing. Now, what happens is if anonymous browsing is happening, it is fine. You can use cookies to retarget them and all, but especially knowing the customer more depth is the key thing. So here is me. What are the things which we can track about is what's the identity, my name, phone number, email ID, date of birth, my gender. This date of birth is wrong. Okay. I'm much more older than the date of birth kept here. My marketing permissions I have given. Behavior is what I'm doing on the website, okay, what device am I logging in? So knowing what events are done against the person is key, and knowing who is doing that event is even more critical, okay, which is where the customer profile comes in. When you marry the events to the customer profile is where the magic happens. Okay, now there is a question in the chat by Amartya, who is responsible for creating and ingesting the event? So the good part is, if you have implemented a tool like Omniture or Google Analytics, just by putting in the tracking code, you can do all of these things. Now, who's responsible? The right technical, the web developer or your front end developer is responsible to put in. Who's responsible to tell him that is the product manager. Okay, if the product manager does not put it in the task that we have to enable tracking for this and these are the events to be tracked, nothing will happen. Okay, so I will go back and it is same for Mixpanel as well. Okay, tracking events is the most important thing. And trust me, in the last 1 year, I've spoken to so many brands. They want to do advanced analytics, but every time 3 months are wasted to get their events done. And it is all because lack of awareness of the power of analytics. Trust me, this is the biggest issue which everyone is facing. Even the biggest of the companies have this issue. It's not that smaller companies have this issue. In fact, smaller startups I see are much more disciplined in tracking events because they are more data driven, because they are burning their own personal money or somebody's money. So there is big discipline. Companies who are say Fortune 500 companies, they have a lot of money, so there are more issues I see sometimes happening. Now, once you track all of this data and KPIs, data and users, we end up creating KPIs. Okay. Now, the other challenge which everyone has is there are too many KPIs which people track. Okay. I'm assuming many of you are related to e-commerce or digital marketing or product. Can you just name one KPI which you track in your company or at work? In the chat, you can put in one KPI. You can track ARPU, CTR, ROAS, anything which, and you can type in multiple ones also. You can think about anything which are product marketing related KPIs, CAC, CPA, CTR, churn rate, conversion rate, NPS, DAO. Yeah. So the interesting thing here is, most of you are talking about marketing related KPIs. Okay. Which is fine. Marketing related KPIs are good because they help us get the traffic. We all are very obsessed about revenue. But the challenge, what happens is, we are great at tracking marketing related KPIs, but the experience, like we get traffic and then we are not getting orders, we are not getting conversion. That is the problem which everyone faces. So if we do a great job of tracking product experience related KPIs, we will end up converting huge amount of people into orders. Okay. So one key challenge which I also face is I'll take a personal example. Okay. I am very much obsessed about tracking my health KPIs. Okay, so health KPIs could be footfall, heart rate, sleep time, ECG, pulse rate, all of those things. But for me, the biggest challenge I face is, am I healthy? Okay, someday footsteps बढ़ जाएगा, some days sleep time बढ़ जाएगा, some days some metric will go down. And that is the reality of our office life also. 10 metrics are up, 20 metrics are down. We don't know which are we chasing. But to be able to define what is our North Star is a key thing. So I'm using this word North Star. So North Star is a metric that captures the core value that a product delivers to the customer. Okay. Now here the North Star is product delivers to the customer. It is not the product delivers to the company. So it has to be a non-financial number. It cannot be revenue. It cannot be profit. It cannot be ARPU. Okay. North Star metric is a customer experience metric. Now let me take my example of health. Okay. That place my objective is to be healthy. After studying a lot of KPIs, I figured out resting heart rate is a North Star KPI for me. So my resting heart rate when I started tracking used to be around 70, 71. For great athletes, it is about 50, 55. Okay. So if you have 50, 55, it is like you have mental peace, you have good sleep, you're doing extra workouts, everything. And what happens is that KPI captures the essence of everything which you're trying to do. Okay. So how do we use an example of North Star metric in our business? Okay. So let's take an example of Spotify. Okay. So Spotify, we all know that Spotify is great at providing uh, recommendations, and it helps us listen to a lot of music. Now, the way Spotify has become such a great music app is by optimizing for time spent for listening. Okay. Now, what does time spent for listening mean? That for time spent for listening, they have to make sure that recommendation algorithm is good. If you even go and search for one song, it will keep suggesting you more songs to listen. Okay. So it helps you bring back the user and it is infinitely playing. So if people are spending more time listening to music, they are hooked on to the Spotify app. So the another feature which they have also built interestingly is uh, buffering. Okay, they have made sure the buffering is zero. Now, how do they make sure buffering is zero? Suppose they are spending time on listening to one song, they will make sure automatically the next two, three songs are buffered for 10, 20 seconds. So that way you have zero buffering. So Spotify app is like beautifully designed to make sure all of this is working well for you. And uh, and if people are spending more time spending listening to music, automatically people will stop wanting to get ads, they will want to pay, and they will move to subscription based system. If you are very much interested on how Spotify works, you can watch a documentary called Playlist. It is super amazing to learn what and how did they crack it. Am I not audible?
So you are audible.
Okay. Okay. uh yeah. So let's look at another example, Netflix. Okay, so Netflix, the North Star metric for them is average hours viewed per member per month. It is very similar to content. They want people to watch more content and they track the number of hours. Okay, so for content-based apps, it is very interesting that you can do on watch time and consumption based. Okay, now I'll take another example. Okay, which is very interesting to me is Uber and Ola. Okay, I was speaking to one of the data science head. Uh, so what they said is, so how many people have tried Blue Smart? You can put it in the chat. Okay. So you must have used Blue Smart for, like I use Blue Smart for scheduling my rides for airport. But anytime I have used it for instant booking, it has not worked well for me. Is that the same experience you have? Okay. Now, when Ola and Uber were competing, or Ola and Uber were like Uber was competing anywhere, what they found is interesting inside that people don't want to wait. Okay. So if I try to book an cab, in one app it is saying 30 minutes and another app it is showing 16 minutes or 10 minutes. Whichever app is showing me faster time, I will go and book it. So they created their North Star for some time as that we need to provide the person the cab in less than 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes. So when they started building the algorithms, the distribution, all of this on this particular metric, everything became better for them. And that was the most important feature which they optimized for. Okay. And this really blew my mind, and it never even though I was in analytics, still I had that discussion with them, and I was not able to figure out that that is the key insight they had. And they said we ran thousands of experiments. We said, is it price people like? Is it the cleanliness of cabs? Is it this? But what they figured out, the key North Star for them is to get them the cabs in the fastest amount of time. Okay. So minimizing wait time was the main thing. Now, in the chat, I would want you to think about your organization and what metric do you obsess about, which is a non-revenue metric. You can measure, if you are okay, you can mention the organization name or the industry you are in. And feel free to come online and speak up also. It will be great. Anyone who can share what metric their organization obsesses about? Review rate. Ram, can you explain what does review rate mean? You can unmute yourself, please.
So review rate is how many people are reviewing your product, right? So it's very critical. In nowadays, if you look about Amazon and anything, right? Almost 40% of the people visit your review section where people see the images of your actual products which was delivered to the customers. And that brings a lot of trust of the customer as well.
Yes. So we will touch upon little bit on reviews little later, but that's a great insight. So I'm sure all of your companies are obsessing about some or the other metric. I'll take another example. I was speaking to somebody which is a startup into uh, hotels, and it's a hotel aggregator. I'll not name that company. So I asked their people that what's the metric you obsess about? And they mentioned it is the booking acceptance rate. Okay. So I said, what does booking acceptance rate mean? This is very confusing to me. Then he said, if a person has booked, if say 100 people have booked on our website, if they go to the hotel, how many bookings are accepted? Okay. I said, that should be 100%. Why should it be anything less than that? He said, no, we are struggling with the booking acceptance rate of 60%. And it really shocked me because think about you go with your family to a hotel and they say and you go at 11 p.m. in the night after coming from from a vacation or someplace, and they don't accept your booking. So you're stranded in the night, and it has happened with me once. So and then I asked why this is happening. He said because we are an aggregator of hotels. uh, what happens is people because we are discounting, they don't accept the bookings because they don't agree to the price, and this is becoming a huge product nuisance for us, and people put bad reviews. So rather than addressing the reviews, we figured out booking acceptance is a problem which we are trying to solve, and our aim is to take it to 90. Now think about it, if the booking acceptance rate is hitting 100, your reviews will be good, your repeat rates will be good, everyone will be talking good about you, and your revenues will be also good, and there'll be lesser cancellation. Okay, so finding this North Star metric is not easy at the end, guys. Okay, but it is to solve a problem in the product which needs to be optimized, and all metrics are coming into it. Yeah. So Amit says in micromobility, when demand is high, more than the supply, optimizing fleet uptime. So North Star is number of vehicles in rideable condition available for users. Yes. Yeah. And there'll be like sometimes we have to discover such a complex metric which might seem simple. And if you optimize for a few months, that problem gets solved. It is not that forever your North Star metric will be same. But over a period of time, you might say, okay, for this year, we will focus on getting this metric really up. Then we will pick up the another problem. We will take this metric to be up. So, for example, in call centers, I've seen sometimes they said average wait time for the customer to talk to an agent needs to be resolved. So that's another way. So here are some North Star metric which are publicly available. Different people have tried to put in. I don't know whether they are true or not, but say Facebook and all used to optimize for monthly active users. Uh, uh, WhatsApp for message send was the earlier one. Now they are doing on number of conversations. They are trying to optimize. Okay. Another thing, like, many of the social media apps have moved rather than from just MAUs because say Meta has hit 3.5 billion MAU per month. Like half of the population of the world is on Meta. They are now optimizing on the time spent on the app. Now, for that, they are pushing that you look at reels, you look at videos, you look at different things. In fact, LinkedIn also is pushing videos because they have also hit an highest MAU, but they want watch time to be optimized. So watch time will be optimized by throwing more long form content. Okay. So feel free to put in any questions, guys. I'll be moving little fast. A lot of content to be covered, but so far I think so we are doing good on speed. Uh, so we understood the importance of data. We understood the importance of KPIs. We talked about North Star. North Star is, see, people have a lot of KPIs, but the ability to put it into a tree is missing in many of the companies. And the person, at least at a team level, if you're a product manager of a feature, go about it. Don't need to think about it for 10 years, but at least for 1 quarter, 6 months, it can be used in as a normal thing. Now let's move to the three key component of product analytics. Okay. The first is optimizing the customer journey. The second is driving customer engagement. And third is retention of customers. So product analytics is focused on these three components of product management. Okay. So today, customer journey is very convoluted. Okay. You see an ad, you come to the website, you go to the website to download the app. From the app, you kind of look at things, then you leave the app, you go to Meta to go to Instagram, you see a retargeting ad or message, you then come back, you log in, there's a WhatsApp message coming to you, then you click onto the WhatsApp message, then you add to cart, then you forget, then there is a coupon code comes to you, then you click onto it. So the customer journey is very convoluted, even if we just talk about online. And the attention span of people is also less. So understanding how the customer journey is flowing is a very important thing. Okay. Now, different tools have different ways to look at the pathing available. This is an example from, I think so, one of the tools, Google Analytics or some other one, where it gives you a pathing analysis. And this is something which I would definitely recommend everyone to go deep into it. Now, in a typical website, there are multiple journeys to look at. Okay, there is app install, cart abandonment, app uninstall, payment failure, top of mind, re-engagement, renewals. There are all these journeys. I will cover the top 5 journeys which are important for people to look at. Okay, so before we go into it, entire journey can be looked down into funnels. Okay, you visit the website, you shop on the website, you start shopping on the website, you add to cart, you create a basket, you check out, and then you look at the order. So that's where the funnel conversion comes in. Now, Google Analytics has interesting thing that you talk about session start, view product, add to basket, checkout. And this is very standard, which most of the marketing analytics or product analytics teams looks at uh, n- from start to purchase. The other way is to look at the checkout journey that the person has added to cart, then added to put in the delivery information, which is the information of address and all, then payments and then purchase. So here, what is important to track is in both of these cases how your numbers are trending. So maybe your add to cart rate is at 50% or 30%. Is that number going up or down? If a person has added to cart to the payment checkout, is that 5% or 10%? You have to look at trends. Many people talk to me that, okay, my add to what is an ideal checkout rate? Say ideal conversion rate. And the answer is it depends. Why? Overall, e-commerce has a conversion rate of 2 to 2.5%. And best case, it goes to 4.5%. But it depends on the industry you're operating in. If your product is more expensive, the conversion rates will go down. If your product is more complex, if it is like jewelry, then the time to checkout also will increase. And I'll take an example soon. So if you look at customer journey, there are different stages and there are different KPIs for it. Uh, I will not go through these more in details right now. Okay. So we talked about online customer journey. The customer journey becomes more convoluted when it becomes a omni-channel customer journey. When I say omni-channel, omni-channel means when you have multiple sales channel. For example, you have website, you have a store, you have an app, you have a third-party place, or you can buy on call. So the funnel becomes much more complex. Now think about when the whole internet thing started, books and electronics were the first one to start. Those were pretty standard product. You are getting discount, you are getting ease of use. There is no variation. But as things became complicated, for example, when you're buying jewelry or you are buying specs, you see online, but you have to go touch and feel. You have to wear. They are expensive items. Okay. For example, even if you have to buy luggage, okay, or shoes, size, fit, touch, all those things is a big problem. Even though people now are able to buy it well, but still, if you see in a mall, 60-70% stores are of retail. So the journey becomes more complex, but people discover a product online, they might add to cart, go to the store, try and see online mein kahan pe discount hai, and then buy it. Has anyone done similarly? They have seen the online thing and then gone offline to buy, or you went offline, from there you logged on to Amazon and all, and then you did to buy. Yeah. So most of us have done it. I'm sure you all would certainly agree to me to get the right discounts. You went online and then you offline and then online, huh? So honestly, what I feel is earlier shopping was easy. You can go offline and buy. Now today you go online, you then go offline, then you go online, and then you figure out somebody has got a better deal than you. So your your motivation to buy or the excitement also sometimes reduces. So omni-channel journeys are much, much more complex. Okay. And I was speaking to the founder, ex-founder of Carrot Lane few days back. And what he told me was something very interesting. He said, Saurabh, it takes 21 days on an average for a person to discover us online and then complete his purchase. Now, what our product managers minusculely do is they keep track of people who are visiting online, which zip code they are coming, how do we direct them to add to cart? If they have added to cart, how do we show them which is the nearest store that particular size and jewelry is available? They go and talk to customers, they do some calls. So the product manager just goes much, much more beyond just managing the website or the category manager who's designing the jewelry also is also looking at what type of customers are coming, and the person who's managing the digital product also is looking at the store and online. In fact, their app in the store is also beautifully designed. So if I'm Saurabh who has logged on to the website, the store app which the store person is using, when he logs on to the app, he is able to see, Acha, Saurabh has visited the website 3 times. He has added this to cart. So he's interested in such things. This is his size. Here is a coupon which he had seen online. So we should give him the same coupon here. So the online app experience and the store app experience is also synced in. Now that is not a tech thing only. Okay, definitely you need two apps to be built in, but the data layer with the right customer identification has been built in pretty well, which is a very good example of it. I used to work at Lenskart. Lenskart also does it decently well on this, but many few companies have cracked omni-channel well in this journey. So on the topic of customer user journey, there are these 5 user journeys I recommend everyone to minimum obsess of. One is cart abandonment, the second is new user, the third is order status, discovery and search, and then is omni-channel if it is applicable. Now, can you tell me in chat which of these journeys has the highest conversion rate? So somebody who's doing this event, which journey will convert highest? You can put it in the chat, whichever name. You can say cart, you can say order, whichever. Yeah. So cart abandonment journey is the highest converting journey because the person has the highest intent to purchase. Now, somebody has put it into cart means that he wants to do something and he wants to check out the offer. So factors which contribute to abandonment is the checkout process is very poor. There is a lot of hidden cost. You keep adding कि अच्छा shipping भी add कर दिया. You add this tax, that tax. The pricing is very convoluted. There are too many steps in it. Okay, there is no social proofing available. The shopper is getting distracted with more products being recommended there. So how do you improve your cart abandonment? Is mainly one is very easy checkout. Okay, lot of companies have come out with very interesting checkout methods where so there are two checkouts, which is GoQuick and Razorpay. What they do is you just put in the phone number and automatically it will populate your address and your saved cards. So it becomes almost like a one click or two click checkout, very similar to what happens in Amazon. So it becomes your checkout very easy. The second is there are cart offers, which is like, okay, if you are spending more than 50%, then is there won't giving cart offers push for an abandonment for getting extra cart offers. Yeah. So smart shoppers do that and brands have also realized it. So rather than, so say for example, when you do bundling, okay, when you do bundling, what it means that, say if you spend more than 3,000 rupees, I will give you an additional 10% off. Or if you use Zepto, they say, okay, if you spend more than 999, we will give you free delivery. So cart offers are mostly to level up your cart value, and sometimes shoppers are also become smarter that cart may leave it and then I'll get additional off. So it leads to it, but at the end it's all about conversion. Okay, people have already factored the cost of driving of in their margins the discount. The second most important journey after cart abandonment to me is the new user onboarding. And to me, this is a very ignored journey. Okay. Many people get people to download the app, but as soon as you download the app, you see the website and all, but you don't get to recognize the customer. Okay. Now, new user onboarding, you have to see what campaign did he come from? Did he come from an Instagram ad or did he come from a search ad? So handing off that new user onboarding is where people mess it up very much. They will not show personalized offers or personalized things, and it is not easy to do it. So in new user onboarding, my thing is definitely track the number of people who are signed in. If you're not signed in, then you will not know who's doing what. And if you're not knowing what you're doing, it will so Ram, new user onboarding journey. Your question is which are some brands which are doing really good new user onboarding journey? I think so. Flipkart, Amazon do a good job of new user onboarding. Myntra also does it good. E-commerce companies you should look at. Cred also does a very good job of new user onboarding. Many people are very sales driven. Okay, new user onboarding is almost like when you enter a shop, you give a good experience. You don't start saying कि ये खरीद लो, वो खरीद लो, this is a discount, that is a discount. So too much discounting or pop-ups coming on your website screws up your new user onboarding. Just need to make sure you recognize the customer, you personalize the customer, and you carry the context from where he's coming. Carrying the context is where many people miss on. That what did he do? What did he see earlier? Okay, so a little bit of personalization is key. The third key journey which I see is order status. Okay, many people come back to check what's the order status and uh, have we completed the order? What's the so this is one other example I've seen many people send in message, but the website is not updated with the tracking ID or the shipping partner. So that is where the journey breaks and the customer ends up calling. And if he ends up calling, he is already irritated. So providing a very smooth experience of where the order status is a key thing and being very predictable. So it's okay to take 5 days, I guess, but it is not okay to say 5 days and then deliver it in 10 days. Or say that, okay, I will deliver in 48 hours and then deliver it in 3 days. So it's better to say 3 days, but tell it in 3 days. Uh, it is an issue, but tracking is, Ram says, it is an issue, but tracking is very costly. Yeah, it is costly, but it comes at a cost of retention. Okay, it will cost you 2-3 rupees per order. And if your order value is 1,000-2,000, then it's okay to spend that 2-3 rupees extra. That's what my thought is. Okay. The third area is search and discovery. Okay, now this can be into another area also, but many people come to your website and search. Okay, so they will search some product and click on it. So tracking what people are searching and what people are leading to. For example, if I search a pink shirt and if it shows me pink frock, then it is of no use. So it's like a bad CTR, I will get it. So search and discovery are very important, and there are a lot of good searching algorithmic apps which are available, which you can integrate. So that's another thing to look at. So search and discovery also gives you a lot of data which can be used to optimize the customer journey into the website. Yeah, Ram says search is the most ignored in most e-commerce. Yeah, but again, it's like a funnel. Okay, you optimize cart abandonment, you optimize new user onboarding, then you can say, okay, I will do a little bit of personalization and then go to search. So search is a very low effort and a high output thing. I remember one brand, the CMO was telling what he used to do is, see, in Instagram post, you cannot put in the product information and put a click, okay, in the organic post. So what he used to say, search the product ID. He used to give the product ID is 3456, and then he will go and check what product IDs people are searching. So if there will be, say, a female who's going and searching, okay, dress, they will go to the website and search that. So he used to see what searches are coming with the product ID. For him, that was a very intelligent way of attributing what is happening from social media to this and which ad is performing better for him. So search data, if looked well, can give you very, very interesting insights, guys. Okay. I'll take a pause, see if there is any questions. Okay. Next.
Sir, I have one question. Can I ask?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, अभी देखिए, so we will, so as a customer, while I was, trying to look for a discounted price across these things, right? मैं Amazon में भी जाता हूँ, और I come to the website, official website. I also go to some other things, right? So how can we get all these data uh, into the analytics? मतलब, how do we see that last touch point? I hope you are getting my question, maybe.
So I understand attribution across multiple marketplaces. Okay.
Correct,
See,
correct.
see, one of the things is when going to marketplaces, we cannot get data from what's happening there and how the customer is moving across different properties. The best you can know is what the customer is moving between your website, your app, and little bit on your social media. So whatever you can control and you can put in the links from your side, you can know. Rest, you can look at if a person is going to Amazon and coming to your website, you will know the source traffic as Amazon, but Amazon will never direct them to your website. Okay.
Absolutely.
So
That's
so
true.
he will go to the from Amazon, he will go to Google, search your brand, and from there he will come. So, but he will be coming through an organic flow. So
Right.
attribution across marketplace and D2C is broken. But if your aim is to improve your D2C, you can build at least this ecosystem pretty well, which also I think so 70-80% brands don't do a good job. Okay.
Correct, sir. So how do I approach solving this particular thing for a D2C brand, sir? Like, as in, identify where the last touch point of attribution, as in maybe.
So the
How do
simple
I
thing
do?
we can do is see our attribution cannot be solved beyond a point, but the most fundamental thing people miss is to put UTMs. Okay. When I say
Correct,
UTMs, it's the UTM tracking link. Many people
correct,
put in the
correct.
naked link out multiple places. So you cannot know what's happening. So the key hack to it is put anytime you're putting a link outside your website, you should have a UTM link. That's it. उससे बड़ा कोई solution नहीं है.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Attribution is another topic we can cover in another session on marketing analytics. I'll think about it. If it's of interest, we can plan it. Okay.
Sure, sir. That will be great. Yeah.
Okay. So let's come back to the session. So then first we talked about customer journey. Now we'll talk about customer engagement. So customer engagement is how the people react with the product. How do they basically engagement and experience is where we are covering right now. How much the user is driving and what is the conversion coming, and finally what is the experience he is getting. For this, there are few KPIs to look at. One is the number of active users, or which could be in terms of DAU, MAU. DAU is daily active users. How many people visit your website every day? How many people visit your website every month? But you looking at a DAO MAU ratio is a very key thing because it'll tell you, okay, if every month 1,000 people come in and every day 100 people come in, so definitely the DAO MAU ratio is 1:10. Okay, which is a good number, but the lower this number DAO MAU ratio is, the more engaged user is. Okay, then is retention rate, how much of people retain in 1 7 30 day, the session duration, and feature adoption and conversion. So here I have a question for you. Uh, is higher session duration good or bad? So for a business is yeah. So Bhavya, if you could explain when you say depends.
So basically, it's the motivation or the objective of the business that we should be tracking. So let's say if you're looking at a car, like an e-commerce website, the session duration, having very high session duration might not be a good idea. While if it is a streaming application, it will be a great idea to have higher session durations. Now, even at an e-commerce website, we should also not be looking at very, very small session duration because we might not be exploring other products or offerings that we have. So that's the idea.
Yeah. So say if the session duration is say less than 5 seconds, then it means the person is opening and bouncing. Okay. But an optimum session duration for your website, for especially for e-commerce, could be, they can say it is say 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 90 seconds. One could benchmark that it will take a little bit this time to do it. Especially in a consumption-based app, which could be YouTube, Netflix, the session durations will be very, very high. Say somebody is watching one Game of Thrones series, then it might be almost like 5 hours, 6 hours, because you might be watching back-to-back episodes. So the key is to understand what is the nature of product and what is the thing which they are doing. In some cases, very small session duration is also fine. For example, MyGate. Okay, you get a pop-up to say approve something. Now out there, the person will open up the app and click, and is done. So even if he is able to do the approval in 1 second, that's a good number. If he even he's here, it'll take 3 seconds, it's bad for him because it might end up somebody will call them and say, okay, sir, somebody is waiting for you. So session duration is a very key customer engagement metric, but it has to be contextual. Okay. Yeah. So we talked about engagement metric. Now, another thing which I've noted in many companies is understanding a pivotal moment to drive customer engagement. Okay. And many companies keep experimenting on it. When I was at Lenskart in the online world, it was AR was a pivotal customer engagement thing. Like you browse, but if you do an AR feature, then you see the specs on your face and then you kind of change, like do your head movement and you experience the product. So people will be tempted to buy more in case they have done an AR, or in the physical world, they have gone and booked an eye test and done it. The conversion rate used to be, especially for eye test, used to be more than 60-70% if somebody has done. And AR also, almost the conversion rate doubles or triples. In case of cred, that pivotal moment is spin the wheel or doing some kind of contest or something which will get them to be hooked. In Starbucks, it is signing up for a loyalty program. Or in cases of, say, Carrot Lane or other companies which are omni-channel, it is, are they searching for the nearest store? If you're searching for the nearest store, it means there is something which he's interested in. So customer engagement, you look at all the matrices, but find what do you want everyone to do, which is very simple thing. Okay. CTR, I think so everyone is aware of, so I'll not talk about it. The other thing in customer engagement is the experience. Okay. Now I will break it down into three things. What the customer feedback they give to the brand directly. It could be NPS, it could be CSAT, it could be customer effort score. or what they write on the social listening platform, social media platform. They give reviews and rating on Google My Business, or they give it on Amazon, or what they type, or what is the sentiment. Are people writing positive reviews or they're writing negative posts? These are first two things which are customer feedback and social listening. But the ultimate customer experience is how much is my organic traffic coming in and what is my repeat rate. If these two are taken care, I think so companies have cracked the organic growth lever at the end. I know I covered this very fast. I have a blog onto it. We will share the link for you, but this is a very big area to learn about what customers are experiencing. Most companies only stop at NPS. The problem with NPS I have is NPS first is people only 10 maximum 10 to 15% people give NPS, and many companies force you to give NPS, especially if you are going for an automobile car repair or servicing. People will come and ask you, sir, nine, give me 10 only, then only, and they will make your life hell till you give them 10. So NPS to me is a very, very biased number, and it makes your life hell also. So now, coming down to the third area is the customer retention. Okay. Now, we talked about customer journey, we talked about customer engagement and experience. The third area is customer retention. Now, many times coming onto your website, people think about retention only once the person has bought. But to me, in the digital world, retention starts when the marketing has bought the traffic to your website. And now, how do you retain the person onto your website to get to the right action? Now, retention is very key, because if we solve for retention, the ROI of marketing can triple up as well. So that is where the challenge is. Many companies focus heavily on performance marketing and social media marketing, but retention marketing is where people don't focus so much. You might ask, Saurabh, why are you talking about customer retention and product analytics? The reason being is customer retention cuts across both product and CRM. Okay, and together, if you do a good job of it, the impact is very big. Okay, one key challenge in customer retention, is we don't have information about the customer. Okay, so for example, we only know of people who have bought the products. Okay, but when people launch apps, you come to know about people who are interested and they haven't bought. Now what you can do is, rather than keeping on doing performance marketing, you can use that data to send them proper emails or SMSs, which can help them to convert later. So you can have a direct one-to-one communication, and it might make it easy for you to drive it. Now we talked about customer data. Now, how do you collect customer the first party data? Okay, first party data basically means there is third party data which is mostly anonymous. Second party data is more of survey or aggregated, and first party data is where you know about the customer very directly, like the example I shared. Um, the number one reason people go for an app versus a website is to be able to drive higher retention. Higher retention comes from two aspects. You open up a direct channel between the customer and the brand through push notifications through the app inside your app, because website retention is very, very poor. But if your app is not well done and it is not of repeat usage, for example, if I create an app for an insurance company, how many times you will open it? Okay, so anytime which is a high frequency product, for example, Zepto and all, they have an app, or Uber and all. So you get on an app for either functionality or repeat usage. Those are the two main reasons we need app. And with first party data, you can analyze it well. Now, one of the biggest challenge people ask me is, how do you collect more data about your customers? Okay, knowing first party data is very key. So to collect more data about your customers, you can use QR codes, digital invoicing, very, very simple things, loyalty programs, click to WhatsApp ad. And once you have collected your first party data, you can leverage all the marketing channels to drive your retention campaigns. One of the most important channel out here is the push notification or the app marketing thing, which the product team controls. Okay. uh, so and you can have pop-ups to collect it as well. So think about, okay, now you are a smartwatch company. What are some early warning signals you can notice that the person will attrite or will stop using his product? What is the early warning signal you have? You can put your thoughts in the chat. I hope that's not a complex question. How many people are wearing a smartwatch like me? No Bluetooth connection to the phone. Very nice. So I'll tell you the answer. The biggest is battery getting exhausted. Okay. So this is my smartwatch. I keep checking, but what happens is if I'm not charging my phone or I'm not charging my watch, I will stop using the watch soon. And because I've stopped using my watch will go off. Okay, and maybe that is a early warning signal of attrition. So what Fitbit does it very well, which not other companies do it. They send us a message saying that your battery is low, go and charge it. Your Sometimes people also send push notifications as well. Now, push notification, the biggest challenge is today, with iOS 15 and Android, latest Android, they don't by default, they don't allow you to send push notification. Now, for that, you have to create pop-ups and all to get push notification things. So, yeah, many people have done very creative ways to do push notifications, and it is irritating, but it is effective. The key is how to do it interestingly well to get your audience attracted. Zomato is one company which does very good push notifications, so they have good high delivery rate and all. So from a product perspective, I think so making sure the free channel of push notification is there with you. Every channel is paid except push notification, but push notifications helps us get in very good leave rate. Okay. So churn rate and all is another thing. Yeah. So one another concept to know in product marketing or product analytics is cohorts. The concept of cohorts is very key. So many people, misuse the word cohort. They confuse it with segment. They say, uh, what cohort are you targeting this time? So, but when you say that I'm targeting males or females, that is a segment, not a cohort. Cohort is something people who are like say Gen Z, Gen Y, or who are have a longitudinal study. What I mean by that is people who are having same characteristics in the beginning and then you are tracking them in the long term. So, for example, kids who were born during COVID, okay, they will have a very different behavior over the next 100 years. Or people who were born after 2000, or people who were born during World War, or people who were born during partition have a very different impact onto their life. So that is how you look at cohorts, and it is a longitudinal study, very interesting concept. Now, how you look at it, cohort is say on January 25th you acquired 1,000 people. So what is the repeat rate for them on day one, day two, day three? So then you kind of start looking at cohort because at different points in time, you're running different offers. So, for example, Black Friday, you ran a 70% off sale. So, when you run 70% off sale, you then see what is the repeat rate. Maybe you attracted a lot of value conscious shoppers, which are not your ideal customer, but you got huge sale. So, that's the problem with that cohort which has happened. So tracking cohort over a lifetime helps you know your long-term repeat rates and can help you figure out your LTV CAC ratio.
Just one question there into the cohort. So when you have like 1098 customer and 33.9 repeated, right, on the day one, and 23.5 repeated on the day two. So are those of 1098 is repeated on day two or by minus one already because these customers have already done their exercise? So you are excluding those customers. How this cohort is defined?
So it could be a cumulative cohort or it could be an absolute cohort. This is an absolute cohort, 23.5 of 1098. Okay.
So they may be in day one as well, and they may be in day two as well.
They can be, because it is a retention, na? It can open up the app every day.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
agree.
But
Okay.
what you start with is these people who installed the app on 25th of January, how many people opened on day one, day zero, day two, वैसे? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Day
got
zero
it.
always will be 100 because that is the day they installed the app. Now, this is a app opening cohort. But if you say what is the buying cohort, you can say day zero mein how many people purchased. So you can say, okay, 3% purchased on day zero, 5% purchased on day one. So that's how you can do this. So we
Okay.
can take a 1 hour session just to understand how does this whole cohort work. But yeah, we can. I'll just skip something. So now coming on to the very simple thing, what we spoke about, consolidated KPIs. North Star KPI is one key important: customer journey, customer engagement, and customer retention. If we focus on few metric on all of them, it will help you track your entire product management journey in a very simplistic manner. Now coming down to the tech and tools required. Okay. There are specialist tools for product management, which is like Mixpanel and Amplitude. There are common tools which everyone uses for digital analytics, which is Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, Pivot. For marketing analytics, people use AppsFlyer, Branch, and there are CRM tools who are MoEngage, CleverTab, WebEngage, Adobe Marketing Cloud. So most of them have the most common features. But if you are a very deep tech product company, you might get into Mixpanel and Amplitude. But 90% features can be leveraged through the common tools of Google Analytics and Pivot as well. Pivot is very famous in Europe because it does not store any data or share any data with anyone. So it is very GDPR compliant. So yeah, so these are the 4 5 set of tools you can leverage. But I think so most of the people who take the tools, they don't end up looking at the deep journeys. If you're very interested in deep journeys, then go for Mixpanel and Amplitude. Those are the godfather tools of product analytics. Okay. So with this, we come to the end. I'll open up for questions and see. Would love to know what is that one thing you took back from the session and anything which you would want to know more. I know I was very fast in covering a lot of this, but it was more of an overview. You guys can come on, you can unmute yourself and share. Yeah,
So,
Bhavya, we will
Saurabh,
share the recording as well.
so sort of the most critical part is the deciding the KPIs and building the KRAs around it, right? So in the product analytics, right, what should be the what should be the top 10 to 15 KRAs that should be like look day on your report, right? In the marketing, we look your revenue funnel or your customer engagement funnel, right? On day. So on the product side, what kind of these KRAs that should be taken and what should be those list of the KRAs that would be helping us out to actually gauge the performance of the product team? Because ultimately it's very critical that it should be derived with some kind of measurement.
Yeah, so what I would say is I'll come back to that slide which says, so I would keep on these metrics or metrics around this as the minimum viable set, but it depends on what is the product you have. Do you have an e-commerce product? You have a media product? You have a omni-channel product? So what product are you doing? And honestly, deciding, see, less is more at the end. Okay. I've sat in meetings for 2 to 3 days deciding only the top 5 KPIs the team will obsess about. Rest all are observational KPIs that we will keep KRAs as 3 or 4 KPIs, but rest all are observational KPI. Do you understand what I'm saying? For example, if I say that my health KPI is steps, but I have to make an observational KPI that I'm sleeping at least 6 hours a day, even though I'm obsessing about 20,000 steps a day, but I have to observe the other KPI. So it's not always one KPI, but you have to shortlist 2 or 3, and that comes with consensus with the management, with your product team, with your colleagues. And it is
Yeah. So
not an
for
easy
example, in this
discussion.
Yeah, so for example, in this, there is customer journeys, right? That should be, and the customer retention. Don't you think these two are the marketing retention team which is dedicatedly working on this piece? They should be taken care of because ultimately they are building the journeys, they are deciding the communication, and they are deciding the recovery of these cars.
Yeah, it depends on your structure. Okay, there are bigger companies who have a lot of teams to do different things. Some people in companies like Amazon will have category-based teams, and then they will have journey-based teams. So it is a collective decision who should own what. But we all tell KPIs to others. The key is to own up KPIs for yourself. Okay. Thanks, Amartya, for joining the session. I know you have to leave. Um, So, guys, thank you for putting in your this. I'll just summarize the session for everyone. So, product analytics is not a career; it is a skill. To be honest, a good product analytics starts with good intent, good journey. Defining product objective with North Star KPI is number one step. Many people miss this, and it's a big irritant for companies to not succeed. Different products have different needs: commerce, content, conversations. We broke down the things into journey, engagement, and retention. And product analytics help product team think beyond just tracking backlogs, actually. Okay. And if you're looking at building a career around product analytics, then there are three key attributes I would definitely put in one should have. One is strong understanding of a customer journey. The second is strong understanding of product management. And third is passion for data analytics. So with these three components, you can be great at product analytics. Many people think product analytics is all about analytics. To be honest, it has lesser KPIs than the general analytics people do. So having a more product mindset and a customer experience mindset is more important thing than anything else. Um, so just my final pitch to you all. I kind of write a lot about my we have a newsletter where we talk about a lot of the learnings. We publish it every week about whatever we have done in product analytics, omni-channel. So, Aditi, if you can put it here in the chat. So you can subscribe to this newsletter. We'll not spam you. We don't sell anything. We share our learnings into blogs and stuff. And I enjoy with my team writing because writing helps us learn more. Okay. Uh, Putting this deck together with few of my team members was a great exercise for us to learn the topic and master it. So if this is of interest area, I run a small consulting company into data and analytics, which is called Diome, and we work with 7, 8 brands right now. We have a small team of 8 to 10 people, and we drive these efficiency plays. Uh, yeah, you can subscribe to the newsletter. Here is a sample which we talked about on app attribution. So great, guys. I know how did the time go about? Yeah. Ram, can you explain? I'm looking for loyalty program. What do you mean by that?
So, Saurav, I'm designing a loyalty program for my company. So I takes care of heading the retention for Flowera and Bakingo. You might have heard about these. It's similar to the Funds and Petal in the
Okay,
gifting
okay.
space, and Bakingo is a desert company, right? And D2C. You can also see us on Zomato and this thing, right?
Okay. So I'm
So,
putting my
do
email ID in the chat. You can drop me a note and we can connect. Okay.
sure, sure, sure.
Happy to help. And I'm putting my LinkedIn also in the chat. Okay.
I already
Great.
connected with on the LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Hope
Thanks.
you liked the session. Would love to hear more from you guys. Okay. Thank you very
Thanks.
much and enjoy your rest of the weekend.